Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Mr. Aid, and today I carry on with my series of the Vampire, the Eternal Struggle, deck boxing openings. So today is Banu Haqim, or, well, as they're called in 5th edition. If you were a fan of the earlier editions, they're technically the Assamite. So these are the sort of Middle Eastern, more ancient vampires that... So they focus around sort of assassinating, sort of a lot of subterfuge in here. So it says here, the children of Haqim were once a recluse sect of vampiric warriors, sorcerers and assassins. In modern nights, they are torn between the heritage and the obsession for the moral code and swift justice. So the disciplines in here, they should be about hiding, sort of stealth. They also use blood magic, so using spells, etc. So it should be obfuscate, I think celerity for speed, and yeah, blood sorcery. So as ever, on the back, we've got this incredibly useful QR code that's going to take you straight in onto the Paradox's Black Chantry's website, and it'll give you a 2-page guide on how to play this deck. It's really handy. And on the flip side, you've got your quick reference guide. So it's just details here, the disciplines, how the turns work, titles for the voting, and different clans. As ever in this deck, we have got 12 Crypt cards, which are your vampires, and then we have got 77 library cards, basically. So we'll just put the library cards to one side, come back to those in a minute, and let's have a look at the vampires you're going to be able to play. So here's the sign for I want to say Assamites, but Banu Haqim. So if I say Assamites, you know what I mean in this video. Again, they are part of the Camarilla, which is part of the symbol here, and the Camarilla, blood pool of 5, and then you've got the disciplines down the side. So say you've got obfuscate, blood sorcery, and celerity, which will be the 3 main disciplines of this clan. And then this one, this vampire has got a bit of dominate as well. So the squares are standard disciplines, and then you've got the superior if it is at right angles. So we've got Asim Cobain, Bijou, standard camera. Oh, this number here represents, so if you're going to build your own decks, then you'll notice all these have got a 6, and you can go either. So you could, if you're going to build the vampires in your crypt, you could put a 5 or a 7, so it's got to be one either side. So a slightly weaker vampire here with a blood pool of 3. Then we've got a prince. So this is now starting to get into, so obviously the princes have got the title, so they're going to give you 2 votes when you do get into any of the sort of voting stages. So a standard sort of weaker vampire here, and then we've got a primogen, which is just, it's only 1 vote, but during your turn you can burn the edge. So the edge is the special token that you're going to get for doing certain things, but you're going to allow, you can burn to get an additional vote, but you can then burn it to unlock it. So if you bleed, you can get the edge back. Oh, we've got a Justicar here, which is the top ranked vampire. So it's coming in with extra raw specs, bit of potence here to do a bit of extra additional damage, and then superior in all 3 of the vampires. But once each combat, you can discard a political action card before the range is determined to gain +2 strength that combat, and he's going to do an additional +1 bleed. So we've got Cassandra, so she's a prince, so 2 copies of her, and Kadja, I think that is pronounced, who is a primogen. Then just a standard vampire here, so it's going to be nice and quick to get out. And Warmer Kassan, so here's the prince. Let's see, 5 is quite cheap for a prince. 2 copies of him. So there's your crypt. Those are your vampires that you're going to be able to play. So let's have a look at the 77 deck library. So Biothaumatic Experiment. So Camarilla, so it ties up here. So this is an action card. You're going to need blood sorcery for it, and it's going to cost you 1 out of your main pool. This will be, but it's going to give you +1 stealth action. So it's an action that's going to give you +1 stealth. You can employ an animal retainer from your hand. Okay, so you get to play an animal retainer. Then if you've got the superior, you can put this card on a minion you control. The attached minion gets +1 operational maneuver each combat for strength. That's pretty good. maneuvers always help to sort of either close down the distance or basically keep combats going. Blood Rage, it's a combat card needing blood thaumaturgy, so blood sorcery. Thaumaturgy is the name of the discipline from the first edition. So any usable in close combat, but you can strike with hand damage to prevent damage. It requires fortitude. And then if you've got superior as above, but you can do +1 additional damage. So that's going to help them. It's that sort of assassinating theme of, you know, getting in close, doing good hand-to-hand damage. So it's a celerity combat action here. So it's going to allow you to make a move, so, you know, close down the distance they're trying to get away from you, and you can press it so you can keep that combat going if you wish to. So several flashes. Fleetless, another action using celerity. So it's +1 stealth action. So you can do 1 direct bleed to your opponents. So you do this to your prey. Then if you've got superior version, you can enter combat with a locked minion. This action gets a +1 optional mover. So yeah, they're going to be, it's quite a lot of, so you've seen several cards here of sort of outmaneuvering your opponents. Haqim's Law, Retribution, which is a master card. Put this card into play during the bleed action. The Banu Haqim you control can discard a combat card to get +1 bleed. So we expect a fair few bleed cards in this, well, combat cards. I think you're going to see combat because they are very high combat orientated in the game. Hunger of Marduk. So you're going to need Banu Haqim and blood sorcery. So you've got to use it before range. But this round the vampire can strike, range still 1 blood, or if you get superior as above, but for 2 blood or life. So it's quite good to get that option. Several of those. Still going? We're still going. Okay. Starting to wonder whether the deck's a bit there's an issue with the deck there. So another action, celerity and blood sorcery. So it's direct action, so direct damage again to your prey. Enter combat with a minion. This the act in combat gets 1 additional press during the combat, so you can keep it going. Okay, they're not going to be able to strike you. That's really good if it's superior. Hunter's Mark just reminds me of Warcraft. So Market Square, another master card here, unique location. Lock to give your vampires you control +1 intercept. So that's going to be good to close down and stop other vampires doing things against you. So we now have our first retainer. So retainers are played onto vampires or minions. So it's a unique mortal with 1 life. So the employer, which is the vampire, so you basically just play it onto this vampire here. He's always going to get +1 intercept for having that alive. Obviously you can kill the retainers off. On the Q-Vive, so this is reaction card, so you play it out of your turn or react to something that only usable by a locked minion. A minion can only play 1 between their unlock phases. This minion wakes. They ignore the requirements to be unlocked beforehand. If this minion is an ally, they do not unlock normal during the phase. So it's a good way of getting react to get an unlocked minion back out. So priority shift. So again, this is a standard action, but it's a political vote. So it requires a prince or justicar. Luckily, we've got a few princes or justicars in here. Choose a Methaluser who has more pool than you do and allocate 3 of their pool between 1 or more other Methalosers, including yourself. Let's consider it. Successful referendum means the Methaluser loses that pool and you can allocate it as you choose. So this is a good way. If you can get your vote through of taking blood off, again, you're going to probably do it on your prey. Another MasterCard, Priority Contract, Unique Contract, Trifle, so you can play this as a second MasterCard. Choose a ready Banu Haqim. You control and put this card on a minion controlled by your prey. The chosen Banu Haqim can enter combat with the attached minion's +1 stealth action. If the attached minion is about to leave the ready region, you can burn this to gain 3 blood. Always handy getting additional blood. Pursuit. So celerity is going to give you a maneuver. If you've got it superior, you can have an additional strike. Yeah, these are going to be quite good. at fighting in hand to hand. So celerity, quickness. The vampire can play only 1 quickness each round. It always feels like this might be quite powerful. So you're going to get, that's why you're going to get additional strike, or an additional strike that does not count against the limit. Always handy doing more attacks than your opponent. Rego Motum, sorry, which is blood sorcery. Vampire can only play 1 of these each round, so you can prevent 2 damage from the opposing minion strike, or its superior, it can prevent 4. So that's going to be really handy, because so you can do a lot of damage in hand-to-hand combat, additional strikes, and this is going to allow you to heal. Well, not heal, but basically just avoid the damage automatically. It's going to cost you a blood off your vampire. So, okay, only 2 of those. Resist Earth's Grasp. So it's a modifier. So it's played in combat with celerity. It's going to cost you a blood, but it's going to allow you to do a press or maneuver with an optional press, or you can have +1 stealth if you've got both. So obviously in combat with the superior celerity. Router's Hand. So it's going to cost you 1 blood again. So again with the blood sorcery. So it's a +1 stealth action. So put this card on a vampire. This vampire takes 1 unpreventable environmental aggravated damage. So aggravated damage is damage that vampires really struggle to heal during the game. Starting with your next turn, this vampire can unlock during the minion phase. The vampire can only have 1 hand on them. And if you get it superior, as above, this vampire can burn 3 blood to be immune to this aggravated damage. That's going to pretty much kill him. That's going to kill an awful lot of vampires. Second tradition domain says a reaction requires a prince or Justicar. It's going to give you +2 intercept. Always handy stopping people doing actions they want. Ooh, we've got a lot of these. That's really going to annoy your opponent. Soul burn. So blood sorcery again. So it's going to do damage. So 1 range. If you get it superior, you can do 2 range damage. Swallowed by the Night, which is obfuscate. So it's going to give you +1 stealth or a maneuver. It's quite good to see the obfuscate, so the sort of stealthy, because there's a lot of that in this deck. Tension in the Ranks. So it's unique master. Put this card into play. Any meta loser burns 1 blood after a ready minion they control is burned or is sent into torpor. Any meta loser can use the master card action and discard 2 master cards to burn this card. Underworld Hunting Grounds, so it's unique location. During your unlock phase, a ready vampire you control gains +1 blood. A vampire can gain blood only from 1 hunting ground each turn, because obviously you could have several of, well, not this location, but you could have a couple. It's going to cost you 2 out of your pool to get going. Villain, I'm guessing. So it's a MasterCard Trifle. Put this card on a vampire you control who has any amount of blood and move 2 to 5 blood from that vampire to your pool. Card's name, minion tap, cost you 1 additional pool to play. Villain costs 1 additional pool to play on this vampire. So it's handy actually to be able to manipulate blood around where, sort of in between vampires and your pools. And then we've got a combat here. So Walk of Flames, not usable during the first round of combat. Okay, so you're going to need to use your presses to keep the combat going, which is good because we've got a fair amount of presses in this deck. And that's going to allow you to do 1 aggravated damage or superior 2 aggravated damage. 2 of those. That's pretty nasty. I like this. I think I say this on all the decks that I look at, but I really like the look of this deck. Assamites have never really been, Banu Haqim have never been really a clan that I've naturally pulled towards. But I think with these decks, they're going to give the Bruges a run for their money, I think, because obviously, you know, close combat, the ability to sort of maneuver in and out of range, keep combats going. I think this looks like a really good and interesting deck. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like what we build on this channel, please do subscribe to our channel. I'm Mr. Aid, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.